Hello everyone, my name is Yashvi Sharma and I am student of Lovely Professional University, and today I will talk about my data structure and algorithm project that I have made on a simple messaging system which I will implement using Stack, and it is kind of inspired from WhatsApp. So before telling you about my project, I would like to tell what exactly Stack is. So Stack is a kind of a data structure which follows the principle of LIFO. So, the principle of LIFO. What exactly is LIFO? LIFO is last in, first out. So, let's take an example of a real world life. Suppose you have a book lying on a table. Let's call it book 1. Now you go and grab another book and put it on the table above it. Let's call it book 2. Now you keep another book called book 3, and you continue to do this until you want. So this kind of structure in real life, what we call as is book stack, right? This is exactly what happens even in the programming language. So stack is kind of an structure in which elements are kind of stacked on one another on top of each other, and and the first book that you kept on the table is actually the last one that you would pick up. But the last book you put on that stack is going to be the first one when you will pick up. That is what the criteria of LIFO is. The last book, last in, the first pickup, first out. That is what exactly LIFO is. So just like this book stack example, there are a lot of other objects in physical world which kind of uses this concept of stack only, where one element get uh, inserted or removed from top of the other. So it's like also one of the thing in stack, the last element or the first one that you will pick up or add on is called a stop element, because it is at the top of the uh, stack. Now, there are a lot of examples, a lot of functions that we can do on book stack, right? Some of them include like, if I have, like I gave the example, if I have a book already and I put another book. So putting another book over the other on top of it is like adding the book. So this adding function, adding an element, is actually called as push in programming world or in data structure and algorithm. This push function actually pushes an element on the top of the other. Now what else we can do with the book? We can remove it, right? We can remove it from the top of it and put it somewhere else, or keep it to ourselves, right? So this removing in programming world is actually called as pop. This function in DSA is actually to remove the top element from stack. One thing to note, suppose you are taking away the book you have on the top of the stack. So you do know which kind of book you are taking or taking away from the stack. So pop, what does pop do is it not only removes the top element from the stack, it tells you what was the element that was removed from it. Now there's another function which is called a speak. So we are watching a stack of books again, and we want to see what is the first element, first book which is kept on top of the stack without actually removing it. So we use peek here. It displays top element of stack, right? Now, what else we can perform? There's another function called isEmpty, and it is used to return whether the stack we have is empty or not. The last one is size. Suppose you have book stack of 5 books. How do you know there are 5? By counting. That's what size does. It counts the number of element present in the stack. So these are the functions that we use in our data structure and algorithm for stack uh, data structure. So let's kind of recap what were the function. Push function is to push an element on the top of the stack. Then pop is used for removing the top element from the stack, and also it help us to knowing which element and what kind of element was removed from it, like what was the description of it. Peek is to peek the top of the element, not no, while not removing it. It kind of displays the top element. Is empty to check whether the stack is empty or not, and size to know what are the number of elements are present in that stack. Now, let's talk about why a simple messaging system is an example of stack. So, before telling why it is an example of stack, what task we can perform on a messaging system? It is we can send a message, we can delete the message, we can delete all the message and see the latest message. So, why exactly this messaging system is an example of stack? Suppose you write a message to your mom saying hi, and she replies back and say hi again. Now you reply to her and say, "How are you?" So, what would be the message that would be displayed to her in the notification bar first? It would be the "How are you?" Right? That is what exactly happens in messaging system. One message kind of get added on the top of each other like a stack. For example, you send a message saying hi, and the reply will get stacked on the message hi, and then "How are you?" will get stacked on the reply of your mom. This is what exactly happens in stack data structure. That is why this system is kind of an example of LIFO, uh, because the last message that get displayed on your notification bar was the last one that was sent by or received by you from another user. So in this code, we will talk about how to send a message. We will write about sending a message. Then we will also use a function of delete, then deleting all the messages and seeing what is the latest message, and then get the total number of messages sent by the user in the messaging system. So now we will write the code of our messaging system. So the first thing we will do is make a class called message. So what exactly class is? Class is kind of like a blueprint which helps Python or a program to create new objects from it. So here we will create a class called message, and from it we will kind of create new objects related to sender, recipient, and the content. So the first thing we will do is use init method. So what does init do here? It is actually a kind of a method which helps in initializing of a new object in the class. And self here kind of even in real life world, self kind of has a meaning of like me or myself. That's what self do even in the Python program. It kind of helps the programmer to use the new objects and their attributes. So here we are going to make self dot sender for the sender, then self dot recipient for recipient, self.content for content. So here we are using self because by using self we will able to make new objects from for this class. Now what else we can do is we can make another class called message stack, which will contain a stack of messages of the messaging system. So we will again use init to initialize our message stack class. Now it will contain self.stack, which is actually a list. So stack is actually a list of elements. It's not very different from list. It just kind of follows the principle of LIFO. That is, I've told before, is last in first out. The last element that we have added in the stack will actually be the first one when we will extract it or remove it. So here we have made self.stack as a name for a list. Now, the functions that I have told before, that we can actually send a message, display a message, remove it, and count the number of messages. The first method that we are going to make is actually send message, and it will contain again sender, recipient, content. Here we will also take a variable called message, and from here this variable we will kind of extract our message class so that we are able to use the objects which are created using this message class. Now we will print f to from sender, from sender to recipient, and last is content. Added to the message tag. Now, what if we want to send message again and again and kind of create a stack from it? We doesn't only want it to have only one message at a time. We want it to showcase all the messages that we have sent again and again. So here we will use self stack append. So what will it do? Self.stack.append, as stack is a list here. So now there's a function called append that kinds of add or insert an element at the last of the list. So here self.stack will do what will it will actually extract the objects from the classes of message class message, and then it will append it on the top of the stack. Now let's try to make an object from it. Say we are making an object called mess. Now we will use function called send message, and here I will let the sender be me, recipient would be my mom, and message is hello. As you can see here, we have a message from me to mom. Content is hello, and it is now added to the message tag. Now, what if I want to add another one? That is mom. Mom replied to me as hello. Here, there's a stack, and because the last message which was sent was by my mom, it will get stacked on the first message I sent in the form of stack, and it will be shown at the top instead of the first one. Now, not only we can send messages, but we can also retrieve messages. So we will make a method called retrieve messages. So, so when we open our WhatsApp or any messaging app, what is actually the first message that we see on a notification bar or notification of the app? It is actually last message which was sent by us or received to us from the user. So now what we will do is we are trying to retrieve the latest message. So we will use retrieve message latest function, which will ensure that the last message which was sent or received by us is displayed on the screen. So we will write if not self.stack. Here it means if this stack is empty, print message stack is empty. If it will be empty, no way we can retrieve any messages from it. So we're making sure we do not actually have any error in our code. Now we will create a variable called latest message, and we will call our self.stack, and we use -1 indexing. Why we are using -1? It is because in stack the topmost element is actually the last element. So we want to extract or retrieve the latest element or the topest most element. So we'll use -1 because -1 in program Python is actually used for the last element. So now we will print latest message to from latest message dot sender to latest message dot recipient and content as latest message dot content. Now let's see if we can retrieve our last message. Mess dot retrieve as you can see, uh, mm, the program is actually showing latest message from mom to me. Content is hello, and it showed our latest message because this one is at the top of the stack. Now in messaging system, what else we can do uh, is delete the message. So we will make a method called delete message. Here we are going to take example of delete message all. That means we can delete all the messages, because in WhatsApp or any kind of sending messaging app, we have an option to delete all the chats. So we will make a method here called as delete message all. So again we will use if not self dot stack. That means it should not be empty. If it is empty, we will say message stack is empty. Else we print we will use self dot stack dot clear. Clear is a kind of a function which helps in clearing or deleting all the elements of a list. And we will print deleted all the messages from the message stack. Now what if I want to retrieve all the messages from our chat? Not only one, but all the messages. Kind of like display all the messages, because when we use our chatting system or a messaging system, we are able to see all the messages on our phone. What if I want to do that? So we will make another method called retrieve message all. Retrieve message all. Again, we will say if not self stack, and if it is empty, we will print print retrieving all the messages, and we will use loop here. Loop, because loop will help us to uh, use or kind of extract all the elements of the list one by one. So here we will say for I message, because messages are a variable that contains our class message in enumerate worst self start. From again sender message dot sender message dot receiver, and content would be message dot content. Now let's save this and run it. As you can see, it has uh, retrieved all the messages in the form of stack here. Not only one, two, but all the messages. Now, another function that we can do on our messaging system is actually delete a particular message. What if we want to delete the topmost message from the stack? Here, we will make first again self.stack. If it is empty, again we will print. If it is not, we will make a variable called pop message, which will have self.stack -1. We can do self.stack.pop. So what does pop do? Pop actually deletes the element at the last of the list, which is present at the last of the list. So here it will actually delete the topmost element of the stack. And we can print f message from to page dot pop message content. Recipient recipient. Now let's run it. Mm, Meth dot delete message from mom to me. Content was me. Oh, yeah. So we have a mistake here. Should be content. Should be content here. The latest message was actually now deleted. We can see now to see if it is present in the stack or not. Let's say retrieve all message. See, there is only one message left behind that was sent by me to my mom because the latest message is now deleted. The last we can do is get to know what are the number of messages we have sent till now. So We can say self return. What does len do here? It kind of returns the number of uh, elements present in the list or any uh, data structure. So now, as you can see, we are writing it again and again. It is kind of complex to write every method and every mm, object again and again. So instead, to reduce the complexity, what we can do is make another function called as def display menu. It will actually kind of work as a menu bar for the user, and it will hide all these functions from the user. So it is kind of a concept of abstraction that we see in Python. It's actually hiding all the complexity from the user and making it presentable. So we will make a menu here, and let's say this message stack menu. Now we will have options. First option again would be send message. Second would be retrieve the latest message. Third would be retrieve the retrieve all the messages. And last would be retrieve, oh, delete latest message, delete all the messages, and last would be quit. If the user no longer wants to use this program, it will press tick. Now we will come out of this code and write while true. While true means as long as the conditions are true, this program will continue to execute. So for it, let's add message stack variable, which will have our message stack class so that we can create new objects. Now we will use message dot stack message stack dot display menu method display our menu, and we will use try and except block here. Try and except block are actually used to avoid any kind of error that a programmer or a developer or any coder can have while executing some of these uh, code. So we will write in try if option, let the option be int input, enter a number, enter an option number from the menu. So we are trying tell the user to enter an option number from the menu so that we can perform some kind of these methods present in our class. And what if the user doesn't actually press uh, right value? What if it instead of pressing 1, it kind of enters a, b, or any kind of string? Then it will raise a value error. So to avoid that, we will write print enter right input. Right input. and we will continue the loop. Continue means it will not come out of the block, it will continue and go back to try uh, block. Now, if the option that the user typed is 1, we will ask him or her to enter the sender name, enter the sender name. Same we will do for recipient and content. Recipient, enter the message, content. Now we will use these three uh, in our message tag and create an object. We create object by using this method called send message. Say sender, recipient, and content. If the option is number 2 by the user, we are simply going to retrieve the messages. We will going to retrieve, we will going to use the retrieve message latest. If the option is 3 by the user, retrieve message all. If the option is 4, that is delete latest message, we are again going to call it delete message option is this, that it wants to delete all the messages. We'll call will enter while true, because if all before making deleting all the messages, we will showcase if the user actually wants to delete the messages or not. So for this we will make them enter some kind of value, like enter, do you want to delete all messages? Yes, no. If user enters yes by chance, we will use our message tag dot delete message all, and if it is not, we will break. We'll come out of this loop and we won't do anything else. If user enters anything else, then we will say print invalid input, and then we will come out of this. Now if the option is text, then we will print number of messages in the message stack. Okay. Now last is if it is number 7, we'll print goodbye and we will break out of this loop. If the user tries to enter anything else, we will use print invalid option, please try again. And it will go back to our display menu. This is how our program would look like. Now let's run it. So now I'm pressing 1 and sender is, for example, we. Recipient is my mom saying hi. So message from Yashvi to mom added to the message stack. Now I will write another one. For example, my mom sent to me saying hi. Yes. Now it is added to the stack. Now I want to retrieve the latest message. Keep in mind the latest message as actually from my mom because it is on the top of the stack. So we can see that the latest message is from my mom. Then I'm going to retrieve all the messages, and it is because it is in a stack form. The latest one is on the top and the first one is at the bottom. Now delete. Now I want to know number of messages, so I will say 6. Now there are, as you can see, number of messages in the stack are 2. Now I want to delete the latest message, so I will add 5. The latest message, which was from my mom, is deleted. If we see again, retrieve all messages, only one message is there. Now I want to delete all the messages, so I will do 4. Yes, I want to delete all the messages. Now let's see if there are any messages left in the stack. No, there are number of messages in the stack are 0. So now we will quit. So this was my program on Stack. I hope I was able to make you understand about Stack and tell about my project. Thank you.